them trenches. If I take a loss, bet on myself, cause I got God with me. If I take a loss.
Hey y'all, this is Septemebria Martin with Life Unfiltered. Depending on where you know me from, you might be calling me Seppi or Sep. Before we get started, we want to thank Liquid Gold for the sponsorship. Be sure to make sure you check out our website at Human Care Products LLC for our deals. Okay. Real briefly, I want to introduce Alyssia once again. I gotta keep on bringing her back because the thing about the market, it keeps on changing on us. We're having war back to back and different jobs and stuff shutting down and jobs starting up. So we got to make sure that we always stay on top of things and bring the newest information to you. Alyssia, you got the floor. Whatever you want to start with, talk about. Let's do it.
Yes. So thank you guys for having me here again. It's always a good time talking to you, September. One thing that I had to put on my agenda is, y'all, we are normalizing multiple streams of income. It is because I was doing my little data research before coming on the show here. The cost of living in the United States, this is according to US Today, between 2015 and 2023, the cost of living has increased by 7%, y'all.
Wow, that's a lot.
We can feel it. We can feel it for real. So, but of course, like the CPI, like the economy has changed. Things have been so $50,000 from 5-10 years ago is not the same $50,000 this year. So one thing that I definitely wanted to talk about, just for a brief moment, is yes, like having multiple streams of income is very important right now. Even if you have to shift from one job to another, it is totally fine. Don't feel bad for even doing that, because I'm also starting to learn that folks are like in their careers. Like, we talking about engineers, we're talking about higher education professionals, we're talking about folks that are literally in career fields that went to school and everything, working to either as a side hustle or doing entrepreneurship, which, me personally, me and you, we are on the same page as entrepreneurship. Like, I can't leave one boss and go to another boss. This is me.
Right.
That's just me. I'm gonna go by myself. So, but because of that too, now that I'm starting to notice people are trying to make ends meet with multiple streams of income, taking breaks and having work-life balance is definitely a discussion we need to talk about today. I do.
Absolutely. Sure, I'm a witness of that. Cause I sure thought my business would been done boomed by then. I done had about 2 jobs since I done talked to you last.
No, and it's totally fine, because like we be having it in our head to where, like, look, I'm an entrepreneur. I can clock in when I want to. I'm gonna put all this and all that. Those things are okay. That is still okay to do. We still putting 100% in on our entrepreneurship, but these bills don't care about that.
Nah, they don't. Shoot, gotta do whatever it takes to survive. So I guess I'm learning never to say never. Cause I was like, I'm never getting a job anymore. And shoot, here I am. I'm eating that stuff up. But I mean, I'm woman enough to admit, you know what I'm saying, that things do change. And I'm learning too. You can't never say what you'll never do, because life and circumstances, depending on the situation, it can alter, things that, you might have meant in the past, but you got to pivot in the present. So that's where I'm at now. So I'm looking for something, more stable. It had like a primary income, but I'm still keeping my business going. I'm using my primary income to feed my business, and also, I just want to like bankrupt my business by all those bills. Bills, like you said, they gonna be.
Oh, September, we still here, because those bills are still going to be here. So they really are. But when I mean by taking breaks, before September come back in, when I say about taking breaks, see, you working something stable in your entrepreneurship, eating it at the same time. And
Mm-hmm.
so one thing that we have to realize too is that like we are not designed to do it all. We're
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
And it's good that you come to the realization and tell yourself the truth. Like, hey, financially, I need a little bit more I need a little bit more help in that direction. So now it's time to take it up a notch and balance out. And it's cool. I like what I'm hearing, because you ain't give up on the entrepreneurship. You just redirected yourself and became flexible. That's it.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know. Giving up has never been a part of who I am. Like, it just, once I make my mind up on something, I gotta be careful about what I make my mind up to do. Because once I make my mind up to do it, I even have a hard time, you know what I'm saying, unmaking my mind up. You know what I'm saying? Like that, I'm just really headstrong about it, and I just know my business is gonna be successful because, like, God is continually send you different I don't know, different, not warnings, but different signs to let you know, like, hey, it's still working. It could be somebody from a whole nother state that ain't know my product even made it to, and they be like, yeah, I heard liquid gold, I use it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That
okay,
feels
even the post
good.
office, they smell it. Like, yeah, they be like, this batch right here must be strong because I can smell it through the bag. Stuff like that. To keep you inspired.
Right, right. And see, those things I love to hear, because, your product is reputable, right? And people from all over, not just in one space, all over, is able to kind of like say, hey, give a positive feedback or give feedback, period, whether it's, criticism or not. But one thing that I do like to hear from folks, especially of the entrepreneurs, is that like they take chances. Entrepreneurs take a lot of chances. They hurt
Risk.
like hell. It's so scary. You know what I'm talking about with them chances. Them chances, like, Lord, I don't know where you trying to take me, but
Right.
I'm gonna go where you need me to go. And so from that point, I had to learn personally to where, like, okay, here goes a chance for me to come out my comfort zone, but I have to do two things. One, I have to manage my time, make sure that, okay, let me prepare for this opportunity, pray over this opportunity, and make sure that this is the one for me. And then also on top of that too, make sure that I don't overdo myself too, overdo my responsibilities, because I've done that before in the past, to where like I
Yeah.
overdid my responsibilities or took too many opportunities at one time and burnt myself out.
Yeah. I have that problem too.
Yeah, when all I could have did was manage my time better. I could have did it.
Now,
I'm listening.
yeah, yeah, most definitely. But like we keep on saying, manage our time. What are some ways? 'Cause, like, we know certain ways to manage our time. But for those that are kind of like a baby in the situation, what are a few things that you could show them how to manage their time? Like writing it down. Making a schedule. Like what would you recommend?
My motto is, if it's not on the calendar, it ain't happening. I
Oh,
gotta put it on the calendar. Yes, because the thing about it is, one, I love looking forward to doing things. I can't be spontaneous all the time. Sometimes I just be winging it, but most times I have to put it on the calendar. I got to give myself a deadline. ASAP is not a deadline. We even talked about that before. I am a big advocate on ASAP is not a deadline, because ASAP can be tomorrow and ASAP can be next week.
yeah,
So
yeah,
second thing is prioritizing what's important, right? So prioritizing yourself is very important. Whether you have kids, you got a job, you're an entrepreneur, things like that. If you're not functioning well, nothing else is going to function well at all.
right.
And the last thing, you want to prioritize your responsibilities. So if whether you have a child or not, everyone has responsibilities. So making sure that you're waking up on time, making sure you follow up with people, making sure you look at your calendar often, right? You put something on your calendar. What's your to-do list? What's your action items? First of all, what's your goal? Then the goal will need to have action items to work towards that goal. And
What's
so
action item?
so action items basically saying, like, let's say for instance, my goal is an interview with Septemebria, right?
Mm,
So the action items, my goal is to make sure not only get myself presented on here, but the goal is to hit, I guess prepare and have key points for the interview, right? So how I prepare for this interview is that I write down talking points, I do my research, I make sure that I communicate and follow up with you with those talking points and stuff. So those are action items that prepared me for this interview, which was the ultimate goal in the first place. But bigger goals would be like, okay, I want to buy a car, but I know I need to get my credit right. And in order for me to get my credit right, I need to pay some bills,
Right.
or knock some or dispute some bills or and things like that. So those action items help you to achieve those goals.
Gotcha. Perfect. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm asking a certain question like that because not everybody know those different terminologies. So I want to make sure everybody on the same page. Earlier
absolutely.
you had mentioned CPI. Is that Consumer Price Index or what?
Yes, it is. Yeah,
Okay.
so it's if I pull this up, that's gonna be a long interview. I'm not gonna tell a story.
Hey, we
But
can break it up in phases.
I know, right? And so the reason why I brought that up is because of course we talked about cost of living, right? And folks are switching up jobs, changing industries because you want to be able to afford to your bills, but to also live comfortably too, right? And so I have some students and I have like folks that I coach. Whenever it comes to negotiating salaries and stuff, I always tell them because I've done this before in the past. I do my research before I start talking about salaries, right? I look up the cost of living. I look up how much the salary is compared to other jobs, other companies, and other positions and stuff. And I kind of go from there, right? Um, every job is different, every salary is different. I'm sorry, every job is different, every city is different, and every person is different. So if a job is offering you 50K and you're cool with it, then you accept that offer. But if your job is offering you 50K, but another company is offering you 52, or whatever the case may be, it's really all up to the candidate or the person to determine like what they want to do, what they're comfortable.
Okay. And how would you go about negotiating? Like, how would you like go about talking to your boss? Like, would you be like, "Hey, I've been here for a while. Like you look for a raise. But then they'd be like, everybody want a raise too. We can't afford it. So what you do then? Like, do you just keep working there and hoping that they'll eventually see your value, or do you start shopping around and negotiating?
Like I said, every job is different. So in my position, we do performance reviews.
Okay.
Some people do performance reviews, some people don't. But in my performance review, we kind of review over like my job description and compare it to the pay. Um, every job in every industry is different. So let's say you come to, first of all, you of course you want to be as professional as possible, right? So it's just like, hey, can I set up a meeting, kind of discuss like my job role and stuff. And so I feel like that conversation is like, hey, I've been working here for X amount of time. My skills and abilities have increased. Can we talk about any type of salary increases or growth opportunities or something, right? So if that salary increase involves you getting promoted, then that's something that you and your employer should talk about, right? What do you need to do to get to that point? But if your employer is to a point to where like this is the top peak, this is the only place you're gonna be unless you apply somewhere else, then you have two options. Either you stay where you at or you apply to somewhere else. Because at the end of the day, it's really all up to you.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really all up to you. But if you come to like, it'll be weird if you came to an employer, say, hey, I want to work towards a raise or work towards an increase in my pay. Is there any tips that you have um for me to, work on or anything like that? And give yourself a deadline too with that. Because you don't want to be working towards a raise that never happens within 90 days.
Right.
That's even a long time. 90 days is a long time to
Yeah, it
see like
is.
to work for something and not get guaranteed that, right?
Yeah.
So, but if you feel like it's no budge or you're not getting like a straightforward answer, it's time to move around.
Gotcha. Do you have any tips on how to make your resume stand out? Because I had applied for a job, and this is honest. I can show you proof if you want me to, the emails and everything. I applied for this position even when I was in Omaha working on another job about 8 to 10 times. I promise you. And I pretty much made my resume out to show that all my supervisor positions and how long I've been working it or whatever. I didn't put all my jobs, but I put the supervisor positions in those jobs there. They
Huh?
denied it. But then when I started working for the company for a lower say status in a sense,
Yeah.
they pulled me from the classroom 4 days being there and then offered me the position that I applied for.
Mm.
But I had to resubmit another application. But then they rejected it again. So I don't know if it's like a system or like, maybe AI is reading it or something. I don't know.
I
It might not
wonder
be a
if it
real.
is. That's
Huh?
so interesting. I say I wonder if it is. Now I've heard some employers use like little systems and tools because keywords are really big. But you say
Mm-hmm.
you worked at this place?
Yeah, I was even supervisor there before. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh,
yeah,
that's so interesting.
I
I haven't heard that
know.
before. So they did not unless they already knew who they were trying to hire. That happens a lot
No,
too.
they already pulled me from the class. Like the position been like available or whatnot,
Right.
and I keep on losing people back to back. And it's like, do you still want that supervisor position? And I was like, yeah. And so then they said reapply. So I think it's something dealing with the system. It gotta be.
Mm, probably so. That's an interesting story. Cause
Yeah.
like I know we have like internal, like if we get hired where we're at, right? And you know how they got internal applications,
Mhm.
then a lot of times they'll pull from those too before they'll do both. They'll pull from internal and external, like people from outside the organization, right? But you applying to this place several times and then you had to wait until you actually been an employee on the bottom part. I guess they want to see the experience that you had with the kind of longevity.
I was still in orientation.
Oh, you were still in orientation?
Yeah, still training.
I
Yeah.
I wonder if they're and not saying anything bad, not saying anything bad about you at all, because it's not you. Is you know how you have your first choice, your second choice, and all this type of
Mhm.
stuff. You probably was like the top two or top three contenders.
Okay. Yeah.
You probably was like really really good, but
Okay.
then like it's like dang, we gotta pick one, and then if
Gotcha.
one don't show up, you had another one. So
They
that's
better not
probably
tell
what.
me that, cause hey, they better not tell me that, cause I don't do second. I don't do seconds. I'm sorry. Hey, you can't. You gotta pick me first.
I know,
They
right?
better not tell me that. I'm be hot.
But it's just like, well, sometimes they do that. Sometimes they do that. They'll give a job offer, and then some people decline, and then they'll be like, "Oh, well, can we do another one?" You know what I'm saying? So it happens like that, and it's very disheartening. But at the same time, God bless you with stuff like that, right? If it's for you, it's for you. He'll make a way.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
He'll make a way. So
Yes, indeed. Now we're gonna wind it down. It's getting close to the hour. Alyssia, we will be back on here again. Due to the fact that I need more questions answered, and I just know that pretty much with the jobs and stuff being uncertain, we gotta stay on top of this because, like, first of all, we don't even know if resumes, you know what I'm saying, like resumes aren't pretty much like leaving because people need to track. Sorry, one more question. How do people adequately track their resumes? Like, what's the best way to like write down your stuff so you won't forget throughout the years? You know what I'm saying? Because we are getting older.
you talking about like as far as like using like little tools and stuff like that?
Well, as you work jobs, you know what I'm saying, to remember to write those jobs down in different positions you worked and to pull different experiences from those positions. You follow what I'm saying? Like I might
I
have
see
worked.
what you
Okay,
I
go.
see what you're saying because you can put them on your resume. Like I say, update your resume every 6 months if you can.
Okay.
Make it skills saturated too, because it's easy to read. Like have all your skills on one side, and then like have your job description brief. That's usually how I do it. But every position, every job is different. LinkedIn is a good tool to use. LinkedIn has it to where they see your face, the job role that you're in, they see an about side, and they have like your job. It's crazy because LinkedIn is so powerful to where like if you're open to work, employers try to find you. If anything, them recruiters find you. So it's such a helpful tool to use. So if you're looking, if you already in a job that you really like, but eventually you have a timeline in your head on how long you're gonna stay in there. LinkedIn is a really good tool for those that's looking for promotions. That's college kids too. College kids for sure. Entry level, mid level, anybody. So LinkedIn is really good to showcase like your skills, your job, the companies that you work for, the connections that you have. So yeah, I think that definitely works out. Mm-hmm.
So do you think those connections really work? It just be random people connecting with you and endorsing
Ah,
with Microsoft skills and stuff. Like, you don't know my work history.
that's so funny. But the thing is that like everything is ran by algorithms. I hope I said that right, you guys.
Okay.
Algorithms. But if you basically, like for instance, like your education is from Northwestern, like NSU, right?
Mm-hmm.
So people from NSU that graduated from the same place as you is going to start popping up.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
like whatever company that you work for, be like people that you may know. It's almost like Facebook, but a lot more professional. So those connections are very important to have. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Okay. What's one way to reach you so that way my people can reach you and if they have any questions about their resumes or how to set up their resumes, have any questions?
Yeah, so you guys can follow my Instagram and Facebook. My you can also email me too, but my Facebook is definitely Facebook at Workspace CABS. It's like careers and branding services in acronyms. And you can follow my Instagram is Workspace Cabs, like the at sign. You can go on my website at www.workspacecabs.com. So look at the pages of different services. The specials that I have is take $50 off of any resume service.
Ooh, that's good. $50.
Yeah, take $50 off. And also to referrals get either free coffee or free Chick-fil-A, like a $10 gift card. So if you refer someone to my services, I send you, of course they got to subscribe to it, right? So once they subscribe to it, I definitely send out Chick-fil-A gift cards because it's the season to giving. So that's what we're doing.
Gotcha. Now,
Yeah.
do the person that they recommend, they have to pay for this? They have to pay for your service, and that's after they pay for it and everything,
Yes.
right? Okay,
Hmm.
perfect.
Yep.
All right. Well, you heard it from her first at Workspace Cabs, Facebook and IG. You want to visit online at www.workspacecabs.com. Okay. Thank you,
All
Alyssia.
right.
You're so beautiful and so intelligent. Thank you so much for
You
being on this podcast.
Yay. It's no problem. Lots of love. Lots of love. I love it.
Stay tuned. Life Unfiltered.